Hello again. Monday morning, more content. 49ers coming off the 31-14 win over the Rams. And today's the third anniversary of a very significant play in Jimmy Garoppolo's 49ers history. It is Halloween, so happy Halloween. But if you'll remember, Halloween night 2019, the 49ers played the Arizona Cardinals over at State Farm Stadium. Maybe back then it was still the University of Phoenix Stadium. But 3 years ago, today was that Thursday night football game, the Feels Great Baby game, right? Aaron Andrews interviewing Jimmy Garoppolo after the game. You will remember that was Emmanuel Sanders' second game in a 49ers uniform. They traded for Emmanuel Sanders in the same week of the season that they traded for Christian McCaffrey here in the 2022 season. And Sanders took a crash course on the playbook, was ready to play for the first game against Carolina. 49ers blew out the Panthers. He had a touchdown catch, 4 total grabs. That was the same week as the 49ers Chiefs game this year. And then the following game, Thursday night, tonight, 3 years ago against Arizona, Emmanuel Sanders truly delivered for the 49ers as a shootout type win. And you'll remember that it had featured one of Jimmy Garoppolo's best throws as a 49er. Deep out pattern that he threw before Sanders broke. So it was a blind throw to Emmanuel Sanders. And he turned around, came out of his break, and the ball was sitting there waiting for him. And everybody said, wow, these two guys have developed sensational chemistry in just a very short period of time. The trust was there. Well, you fast forward 3 years, and the 49ers now have Christian McCaffrey in the fold at the very same juncture of the season that they acquired Emmanuel Sanders in 2019. Halloween is always a reminder of that. And I mean, yesterday, Emmanuel Sanders, he's working for the NFL Network now, studios right by SoFi Stadium. So he was there. That was a reminder of that as well. But the chemistry that Christian McCaffrey and Jimmy Garoppolo have developed in such a short period of time is the ultimate reminder of what happened in 2019. And this is, I mean, it's such huge news for the 49ers because the McCaffrey outlet blanket, and here, let me correct the spelling on this right now, because it doesn't make any sense if it's the outlet blanket, the outlook blanket. The McCaffrey outlet blanket fundamentally transforms how Jimmy Garoppolo can play the quarterback position. We saw it yesterday. He had the highest completion percentage for 49ers quarterback who attempted 20 or more passes in a game since Steve Young. It's on that top 5 list that includes Steve Young, John Brody, and Joe Montana. And Christian McCaffrey and his presence had everything to do with it. He runs those angle routes out of the backfield. He knows how to sit down in the zone. The 49ers, if they scheme him properly, and they could now since he knew the whole playbook, unlike the game against the Chiefs, they can make sure that McCaffrey is facing some of these blitzes, or at least has the option to run to face some of these blitzes. And they could use his football intuition and give him some flexibility, some license, some creative license at the line of scrimmage. If Christian McCaffrey is in the right position, as he is often is able to be, he ends up being such a good outlet that he improves the 49ers pass protection. We talk about the 49ers needing better pass protection. Well, Christian McCaffrey is pass protection without pass blocking, if that makes sense. We talked about the need for the hot reads against Kansas City, right? With heavy pressure coming in from certain blitzes. Well, if the hot reads are there in the face of the blitz, the quarterback can see the read and he can burn the blitz. Christian McCaffrey can burn pressure because he is the ultimate outlet man. There probably is nobody more skilled in the NFL at being an outlet target than Christian McCaffrey. And because of that, Jimmy Garoppolo's way of playing the quarterback position can be fundamentally transformed. Whereas Kyle Shanahan, to shield the 49ers' suspect pass protection, had done a ton of one-read stuff for Jimmy Garoppolo. Yesterday, he was able to sit back there and survey the whole field because he knows that if something breaks down, he could go to Christian McCaffrey. And on top of that, Christian McCaffrey, because he commands so much defensive attention on some of these outlet looks, is opening stuff for everybody else. George Kittle had a big catch down the seam. The play after Christian McCaffrey got a target because the linebacker Ernest Jones stepped up and tried to cover McCaffrey, opened up a window over the top against George Kittle. Kittle said on the radio postgame show that he's never been more open in his life. I don't think Ross Dwelly has ever been more open in his life than on the 56-yard bomb that he caught from Jimmy Garoppolo. And Christian McCaffrey was the interior receiver right over he was open as well over the middle of the field on that play. So Christian McCaffrey opens space for everyone, and he opens time for Jimmy Garoppolo, because having that safe outlet, that's a nice fallback, especially when you don't fully trust the pass protection abilities of the offensive line. But for this to work, there has to be chemistry between McCaffrey and Garoppolo, and that's why I brought up Emmanuel Sanders, because they have developed this chemistry, these two, McCaffrey and Garoppolo, sensationally quickly. And Christian McCaffrey said this: the way that he sees the field is awesome. That's about Jimmy Garoppolo. That is from my article right here on The Athletic. You can go ahead and check this one out. The link is in the description, and I'm going to go ahead and toss it into the comments section for you as well. We're going to read the full quotes about McCaffrey from Garoppolo and about Garoppolo from McCaffrey, because I think these help illustrate how these two have so quickly landed on the same page. Garoppolo and Christian McCaffrey, he sees the field like a quarterback. Why don't we take a look at this right here? This is from my article. McCaffrey about the 9-yard touchdown. Just a little bit of backyard football. Play wasn't designed to go to me, but the one thing I learned about Jimmy is that he's just a football player through and through. That's just a guy playing ball, and sometimes that's the best way to go about it. The way that he sees the field is awesome. Then Jimmy Garoppolo, who finished 21 of 25, 84%, he reciprocated the compliment to McCaffrey. That's just him being a football player. We try to emphasize that being in the moment, and we did a good job of that today. So both Christian McCaffrey and Jimmy Garoppolo complimented each other by calling each other football players. And that's good, because if that wasn't clarified, we'd think they were basketball players, right? But no, I'm just kidding. They're both football players, and that is, I think, the ultimate compliment in this sport, because people love, just using football out there as an adjective, throwing it out there. There's a certain machismo behind it. But what they mean is that these guys respect each other's ability to improvise, to go out there and ball out. The whole let Jimmy cook, well, let Christian cook, let them cook together, because they both understand how to make something happen off script. And that is the championship touch that a team needs. You need to be able to deliver with trust on script, but also trust your teammates off script. And on the touchdown pass, the 9-yarder, Christian McCaffrey was the 5th read on the play. It wasn't even a viable read, according to the play designer at the start of the play, but they made it happen. And Kyle Shanahan doesn't mind that. He doesn't mind great players taking over games. And that's what Jimmy Garoppolo and Christian McCaffrey did yesterday. 2 great performances for those guys. And Christian, I mean, obviously he's at the top of the league as far as just being a weapon on offense. As the 5th read, snuck out of the flat, saw open space, saw that zone, and went for it. And because of this, because he sees the field like a quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo knows that Christian McCaffrey is going to try to go for that zone before Christian McCaffrey even steps toward there. Because if he sees the field like a quarterback, then Jimmy Garoppolo and Christian McCaffrey will be having the same idea about which zone Christian is going to try to attack. And then Jimmy could let that throw loose before the defense is truly stepping in that direction. Christian McCaffrey beats everybody for a step. Touchdown 49ers. As I wrote about yesterday in this full piece, that score truly ignited the 49ers in all phases of the game, including defense. Offense, field defense, complementary football. But to deliver that effect, the 49ers needed Christian McCaffrey to make a play. They needed Jimmy Garoppolo to make a play, and they did. You don't just get that complementary football momentum for free. If you did, then everybody would have it. Every single team would be stampeding people like the 49ers stampeded the Rams in the second half. But you just don't do that in the NFL. You have to have players make plays. That was one of my keys for this game. And McCaffrey and Garoppolo combined to ignite the 49ers plan to smother the Rams. That's what I wrote about yesterday, was complementary football. A little bit earlier, I talked about Brandon Ayuk too. And, we should mention him. It's never about just one receiver or one quarterback or whatever. It's about the full totality of the offense. And Brandon Ayuk had 6 catches for 81 yards, 3 straight games with 80+ yards. He ignited that touchdown drive that McCaffrey scored the touchdown on with a play action catch on second down. Then he had an out route that he caught. I believe that it was also a second down play. I think he delivered on second down 3 times. And then the play preceding the McCaffrey touchdown, yet Ayuk over the middle sets up the third and manageable and puts the 49ers in position to deliver that sensational touchdown strike. So Garoppolo and McCaffrey, chemistry is there. Just wait until Deebo Samuel is also thrown into the mix. All right. Talk to everybody soon. Everybody like the video, sub to the channel. More thoughts coming your way here from LA today after the 49ers beat the Rams 31-14.